Matt Vickers went on to Sky News a couple of days ago to talk about the small boats. Now, I do apologise that this is quite late. I've been away for a couple of days and I'm still away for a couple more days, so videos will be a bit spotty in the next few days, but I should get back to a regular upload by the end of the week. Now, it's always good when the presenters or the hosts have to stop and tell the politician to their face they're not answering the question. I do like to see that little bit of pushback. And by the end of the interview, you'll see that Matt Vickers uses two completely different numbers for what's supposed to be the same statistic. One of them roughly 250 times bigger than the other. So let's dive right in. Melbourne opens very simply. The boat numbers are going down, and that's pretty much the whole premise of the interview. Vickers' first move is to have a go at him personally, before answering a completely different question to the one he asked.
Matt, the numbers are going down. They're 40% down.
You're picking the stat that the government chooses to give you. The facts are, in the year to August 25, 30,012 crossings were prevented by the French. In the year to August 26, last month, 14,462 were stopped. That's 52% down. That is an absolute disaster. They've took £500 million from us, and the numbers of interventions have stopped by half. That is appalling. And you've got some rubbish.
Now, he's talking about small boat crossings, and yet Vickers answers with a stat about French prevention numbers. How many French people stop before they're even getting on a boat? It's a different metric entirely. He says it's down 52% and calls it an absolute disaster, says the government's took £500 million from us. But this is the line that the Conservative Party's been running all week, is that the channel crossing preventions are down by half. What they leave out is the interception rate, the actual percentage of attempted crossings the French catch, has gone up under this deal, not down. Home Office figures put it at 61% versus roughly 56% the same time last year. Preventions are falling because fewer people are trying to cross in the first place, which is not a disaster. That's the good news. It's being dressed up as a scandal. Kamali doesn't let it go, though. He comes back with the actual stat. Small boat crossings, not preventions, are at the lowest point since 2021. Is he going to dispute that fact too?
Home Office stats show that the small boat crossings are at their lowest point since 2021. Are you going to dispute that statistic as well?
Home Office stats tell you that the crossing preventions by French authorities have halved.
No. Just crossings, just boats coming over. Crossings are down, Matt.
Yes, he is. But he doesn't actually say yes, and he doesn't actually say no. He just says crossings, just boats coming over, which is him agreeing with him while trying very hard not to sound like he's agreeing with him. So he changes the subject again, and this time to blame the last Labour PM. The number of crossings under Keir Starmer was the highest of any Prime Minister ever, he says, then immediately pivots back to Andy Burnham having been in office a month with 3,500 crossings already.
The number of crossings under Keir Starmer was the highest of any Prime Minister ever. Andy Burnham's been in office a month and 3,500 people have broken into this country.
You see, there's just two kind of problems with that. Well, it isn't true. 2022 is still the record year for channel crossings, 45,774 people, and that happened under a Conservative government. Starmer's worst year came in at 41,472. I mean, second on the list, but still not as high as the Conservatives. And pointing out that a brand new Prime Minister has overseen crossings in his first month isn't the gotcha he thinks it is. Crossings happen every month. That's what a month is. But then Vickers wants to go on to talk about removals. 7% of all those people breaking in have been removed, he says. Then, in the same breath, he gives us the raw number. 7,042 people arrived by small boat. How many do you think went back? A minute later, he's asked directly whether he'd admit the crossings are down since the Conservatives were in power, and he still won't say yes. Instead, he repeats the same 7,042 figure. And this time tells you only 2 of them have been returned.
7%, only 7% of all those people breaking in have been removed. 7,042 Eritreans arrived in this country illegally by a small boat. How many do you think went back? 7,042 Eritreans arrived, only 2 have been returned.
2. Not 7% of 7,042, which would be about 500 people. 2 people. He's used two different numbers for what is meant to be the same statistics, 90 seconds apart, and nobody actually stopped and asked which one he actually means. Now, if you enjoy what I do here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you want to support me, the memberships are open too. Big thank you to everyone who's already joined. Now, before anyone on that side of the studio gets too comfortable throwing stones at somebody else's return numbers, it's worth remembering what the Conservatives' own removal schemes actually delivered. The Rwanda partnership cost the taxpayer, which you, me, and everybody else that pays taxes, £700 million. 290 million of that paid straight to the Rwandan government. And after 2 years, it sent precisely 4 people. Not deported, mind you, volunteers. 4 volunteers. Whatever's going on with these small boat figures, the party doing the questioning here spent the best part of £1 billion to relocate 4 people who wanted to go there anyway. There's a smaller moment worth pulling out too as well. Explaining why crossings still happening at all, Vickers says that the weather does a better job of stopping these things than anything else, which is unintentionally one of the most damning things a Conservative migration spokesperson could say on the TV, because the Conservatives were in government for the entire stretch of this crisis, from a few hundred crossings a year to 45,000. If the weather's been doing the heavy lifting the whole time, that's not a Labour problem, or, incidentally, a Reform problem. That's what everyone in charge for a decade problem is. And he's just said it out loud. And then we get to the moment that actually matters. Camilla asks him directly, is he being this muscular on immigration? Leave the ECHR, detain and deport everyone because Reform have got ahead of the Conservatives in the whole debate.
Isn't it the case because Reform have kind of got ahead of you guys on all of this migration debate? You're shaking your head, but you haven't come to my question yet.
I'm shaking my head. The reason I'm passionate about this, the reason I think that the government needs to leave the ECHR, detain and deport those people, is because I'm in my constituency now. I'm going to go knock on doors. I'm going to speak to people who are struggling to pay horrendous levels of tax, who are seeing the challenge to their public services. That's why I'm passionate about this. Yeah. That's why I'm bothered. And that's why I know it's the right thing to do by the British taxpayer.
And again, he doesn't actually say no. He just goes straight back to a script about the ECHR and its constituents. And nicely gets called out for it. The Conservatives have spent 2 years watching Reform eat their voters over migration, and the strategy now is to sound exactly like Reform without ever admitting that plan, which makes the next question, well, almost kind of funny. Camilla asks if his constituents want a pact with the Conservatives and Reform, and he says no, a flat no, no hesitation. But then in the next breath starts talking about 1 million young people not in education, employment or training, and unemployment up 19% under his government. Real figures, roughly in the right range, but notice what he's actually doing. He just spent 5 minutes reciting Reform's own migration platform back to us, word for word. And the moment he's asked if his party wants to formalise that relationship, well, the answer is just an instant no. So what did he actually gain from all this? All we've got is a shadow minister for illegal immigration went on TV, couldn't keep his own removal statistics straight for longer than 90 seconds, got told to his face that he hadn't answered the question. I mean, how's that a good day? It's not even a passable one.